Global tensions are rising, markets are unstable, and currencies keep losing value. While governments print more money, smart investors are moving into physical gold and silver. Assets that have protected wealth for centuries. That's why more people are turning to Charlie's Gold to secure their future before the next financial shakeup hits. Don't leave your wealth exposed. Own something real. Own gold and silver. Visit charlies.gold today.
Hi guys, it's Friday. It's the 14th of August, and this is our penultimate day in Singapore. It's been a fabulous time here. But there's so much going on, and there's so much going on that's not being talked about. I'm going to start with talking about BRICS and BRICS Pay. As of today, over 40 countries are currently using BRICS Pay to pay one another, circumnavigating using the dollar, the US dollar. But what they're not doing is they're not making this the only choice. They're not boycotting the dollar. It's being done very, very carefully. And BRICS Pay, with 40 countries using it, settling business, those 40 countries have settled 67% of their trades with BRICS Pay. That means only 33% have been settled with US dollars, where it used to be 100%. The US is in complete panic. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. Everything is slipping through their hands, and we're watching. They can't even pass the Clarity Act, where everybody else has. Everybody else is ahead of the game. Most Americans, and I say this carefully because 80% of Americans don't even have passports. They haven't traveled. I've talked to some Americans yesterday, and Americans have this thought that they're the world leaders. They're the best in the world. They're the number one because they've been told it. They've been told it by everybody. But I met a lovely, lovely American family from California yesterday. They were in Singapore. Today they're in Kuala Lumpur. And then they go on to Shanghai. They're in complete and utter shock at how far ahead Singapore is than America. And I said, you wait till you get to Shanghai. You have a look at Kuala Lumpur. These are incredible cities that if you actually gave somebody a pen, 80% of Americans, if you gave them a pen, they couldn't show you where Singapore is on the world map. And what is even more funny is if you told them to put a pen on a map and show you where Iraq or Iran were, not a clue, let alone Ukraine. And yet they've allowed this to go ahead, these wars to go ahead with countries. They don't even know where they are. They don't even know why you're doing it. You just fall into the mode of being doing as you're told. Now, in your defense, in Singapore, there's still people here wearing masks. There's a lot of people here from China. They're so addicted to masks because they've been told for years, you have to wear them, you have to wear them. It's brainwashing. But as I said the other day with the scripture that I had, there's no point planting seeds on rocky ground. Because if you talk to these people, you might as well talk to a wall. They look at you completely dumbfounded. They don't know what you're talking about. And that explains why 80% of the people on this earth are NPCs. They're non-playing characters. They're not a part of it. And I thank God for the 20%, 15 to 20% that are playing their part. There's a lot of very, very good people out there, but don't worry about those that we've left behind because there's only so much you can do. This is a very special time. Things are moving forward. Going back to the BRICS currency, it's backed by gold. 40% of it is backed by gold. 60% is backed by a basket of currencies from the other countries. It's stable. They can't just print like they've done for years. We're moving forward to a good place. There's a lot of stuff out there to distract you, to ruffle your feathers, to get you to wake up, but we'll get through it. Drew, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, everyone. My first story that's not going ahead is the SEC has unexpectedly cancelled today's major meeting on the new cryptocurrency regulations, citing an unforeseen scheduling issue. The postponement comes as the Clarity Act is also delayed in Congress, leaving the crypto industry waiting once again for greater regulatory certainty.
Well, this is all part of what I just said earlier. The rest of the world's ahead of the game. And the longer they take, the more people join BRICS, because they're using a digital currency that's backed by something. And this, what it will do is level out the playing field. And the beautiful thing about it is, within BRICS, there are at least 5, maybe 10 independent settlement options. Brazil's always had its own internal settlement system. China has always had it. Russia's always had it. And they all happen to work together. And that is what's unnerving America. And this is why they don't know what to do with the Clarity Act and don't know what to do with the SEC. The SEC has no clout at all. It only affects people in America. And if you're not very quick, then you are going to get left so far behind. It's unbelievable. But the rest of the world, they're not waiting for you anymore, because they don't see you as a world leader. They see you as an equal that's fast asleep at the moment at the wheel. They'll do what they can to wake you up, but don't panic. The rest of the world is so far ahead of the game. You got some catching up to do, but it's a good place to be. My next story is predominantly based about the UK. What's happening with Labour? You don't have to take my word for it. You do your own research. The Labour Party is the brainchild of the Fabian Society. Everybody involved is a member of the Fabian Society. The whole idea of the Fabian Society is to take you back to socialism, communism. That's their plan. And their plan is you won't have any more elections, because they know that if they have one more election, Labour's gone and their dream is over. So what they'll do now is they'll create civil unrest in the UK. And they're doing a good job of it. This is where you need military minds. You need good people who understand what's going on. Because if you go in there like a bull at a china shop, you'll lose this, because what they'll do is Labour will invoke martial law. That puts an end to the elections. That gives them total control. So you need to be very, very clever. And I promise you, there are some very clever ex-military in the UK that can guide you through this, because they are determined to shut the UK down and put it under martial law. No elections then. Labour are in for good. And that's all because you're asleep at the wheel. But thank God there are people out there, and there's quite a few of them. It's time to come together and tackle this professionally. Dismantle it professionally. Don't fall for the civil war thing. That's what they want. Civil war gives them power to shut you down. Be very careful. Drew.
Next up, staying in the UK, Nigel Farage says he has secured a resounding victory in the Clacton by-election, defeating a crowded field led by theatrical candidate Count Binface. But Farage stayed away from the count after a police security warning.
Well, Count Binface, this is all about waking the idiots up, or as I call it, the thickos. You know, when you've got Binface, a rubbish bin, standing for government, and you fall for it, then it's time for the real thickos to actually wake up and go, hang on. And I'll tell you right now, for the real thickos, it's going to get worse. They're going to get worse and worse and worse until you wake up, because you are going to have to become a playing part in this to save your country and to save your freedom, to save your rights. Because if you don't save your God-given rights, they'll take them away. And thank God people are waking up. This is all part of the Great Awakening. You don't want to live in fear. What you want to do is learn to work together to dismantle this corrupt system. Remember, they're less than 1%. They're less than 0.5%. 99% are good people in the UK, and it's about time they came together to remove the people that are corrupt behind the system, behind the scenes, who run the system. It's time to wake up. My final story is just to expose what's going on in the world. We're watching the Zionist regime of Israel. They've controlled Syria, Egypt, the US, Qatar, Bahrain, Dubai, and Saudi Arabia. They're losing their grip. Do you know why they're losing their grip? Because they're losing their money. And of course, when you lose your money, it's amazing how quick your so-say friends disappear, especially in the Middle East. All those countries, when Israel doesn't have any money, which they used to be able to print themselves, and they used to be able to extort through blackmail out of the US government, when that dries up and they've got no weapons, all of a sudden they don't have any friends. I'll leave you with that thought. That was the news on Friday, the 14th of August, 2026. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you tomorrow on the Insiders Club. Don't miss it. Mahoney's on it. I'm flying home. We'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
These are the facts, not put out by mainstream media. If you want to know the truth, we put out the truth every single day, Monday to Friday. So if you want to know the truth, come to charlieward.com and see real news daily. And join the Insiders Club, which is live on Wednesdays and Saturdays.